What's up, Nick? How you
Man,
doing?
what's going on, Matt? Glad that you could have me on, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. It was really great to see you in Vegas. How was it
Man,
for you? Did you have fun?
it was fantastic. I'll tell you what, there's so many people just like yourself where we've talked, we've been on Zooms, and I thought we've met in person until we finally did. And I'll tell you what, that's a beautiful thing about this virtual company. We're
Right.
virtual, we're in person, we're all over, and we get to connect with people and mass amount of people all across the country.
Yeah. Because before EXPCon, we'd only shook hands like once, then we did a live together. And
Yeah,
I mean, it did. It felt like we knew each other well because all the live
yeah,
content that we consume of each other's, it's like you get to know somebody
right.
through the virtual space. And I think that's really neat, man.
Yeah. And it really shows you the power of video. When you go to these events, I'm like, holy crap, I feel like I know you, your family, everything you got going on. And we haven't even met yet. So
Yeah.
for me, it's just, I really first realized this. I'll never forget the first event I did for myself. Now, I put on over 100 at this point for like J, Mike, and Alan, all these guys,
Right.
right? And then the first one I did for myself, I never met about 90% of people in this room. I was getting hugs. I was getting handshakes. Like, oh my God, Nick, how's in your family? I'm like, they're good. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
my
crap.
family.
I've shot videos. I've talked about this so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great, man. I've noticed a major change in my business since I've been,
Right.
because I committed myself, and sometimes with me, I have to like financially commit to something. So I went with the StreamYard Pro, account and made sure that, we've got the intros and the outros and stuff. Because in my mind, I'm
Yeah.
like if something's just a little uncomfortable, I'm like, let's just make it super uncomfortable. So I'll
Yes.
actually do it,
Right.
and I've noticed a huge difference in just recognition, like you were talking about,
Right.
whenever you're in a situation that's different, that people have been following every single thing that you do, because you don't think they are, because they don't like, share it, they don't, but they're watching, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you'll show up to something and they're like, man, that's rich, and I'm like, well, I'm not there yet, but they have
Right.
that perspective because, yeah, I mean
Just
it
being
is
on
what it
video,
is,
man. Right.
But what factors do you think keep agents from producing live content and putting it out there?
I think it's having the ability to know that they're confidently doing the right thing. For me, and it's also being able to discuss it with an expert that can say, here's what you do, and even more so, you're doing it right. Because I know myself, when I was kind of shooting in the dark and figuring out things on my own, it got a little nerve wracking because then I'm like, am I doing the right things? And then I pay for a course, it tell me this thing, and I pay for another course, it tell me to do this thing, and then
Right.
all of a sudden you go online, it's telling you to do something else. When you can have a North Star to say, here's where you need to go, this is what you need to do, and even more importantly, someone to say, am I doing this right? Yes. And maybe that small tweak, for me, it's like getting started in real estate.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to go on 1,000 listing appointments before you figured out if you're doing the right thing. How
Right.
much easier is it to discuss it with the coach? Say, here's what you do, here's what you say, and like this is what winning looks like. A
Yeah.
thousand times easier. So for me, it's who can you discuss this with to say, am I doing this right? I am. Great. That gives me the confidence to keep moving forward.
You think it maybe takes that fear out of the equation?
Yeah, because for me, like the fear is what is it? False expectations appearing real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you have these, all of a sudden, this fear keeps popping up. It's like, am I doing this right? It creates that doubt. I'll tell you what, doubt
Right.
is one of the most. It's something that holds people back from actually getting things done. Fear is like the biggest killer of any business, of any live, because when you have doubt, then it leads to uncertainty. Uncertainty means to less action. Less action means you get less results. So for me, I'm all about just taking massive amounts of actions. Why? Because I'm certain about where I want to go, where my North Star is. So as long as my action gets me closer to that, I can take massive amounts of it. So it's that fear that holds you back because you're uncertain and you don't know where you're going.
But that you weren't always like that, right? Like there was a path of travel that got Nick Krim out of
Oh
his
my.
comfort zone and into what we're all doing now, right?
Dude, so here's a good story, Matt. So for 24 straight years of my life, and I'm not kidding about this, I got the same haircut. Same haircut. It was a 3-2. If you know
Yeah.
what a 3-2 is, it's a straight buzz cut, right?
Yeah.
I was an athlete. So for me, I was like, dude, I'm just going buzz cut all the time, right?
Right.
I would tell myself I'm having a bad hair day and I can't shoot video. And it was literally impossible to have a bad hair day because it's so short you can barely even see it. But it was a fear of getting on camera. It was more so a fear of not knowing what I'm doing. So the fear is real for everybody when you aren't certain in what actions you're taking.
Right. And so eliminating that fear obviously opened a lot of doors for you. I mean, what did you do before what you do now?
I was a caller. I would call 15 hours a day, and I was working with a lot of different people across the country about whether it was me calling or it was helping other individuals call as well. So for me, I was on the phone doing some of the scariest quote unquote things in real estate, which is dialing 12 to 15 hours a day at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I hear it from agents all the time that they won't get on the phone. They won't make the phone calls. They're afraid of objection.
Yeah.
And there's that word again, fear. And it's like, if you just take that fear out of the equation, they don't realize that half the time, if you have a good attitude, you know, the heuristic is what out of every 100 calls, you might get a deal. Well, once you learn the scripts and once you internalize the scripts and know exactly what you need to say and what you want to say, that 1 out of 100 chance turns into more like 1 to 2 out of every 10 chances, you know?
Right.
And I mean, I get on the phone calls and I have fun. I mean, people tell me to go to hell and all this, and I'm like, okay, you know, thanks for your suggestion, but maybe not today, but you know, I'll talk to you again in a week or so. You know?
Right.
And they don't realize that, one, people can't hurt you through the phone. I mean, if you're emotionally hurt from someone you don't know telling you to F off, hey, that's a personal thing that you need to work through. And it comes back to what you're saying about not having the background, it always comes down to education with me. Like, if you know the scripts, you internalize them, you know how to speak to people, then everything gets better and success really chases that.
Yeah, for me, you know, one of my favorite quotes is, "It's not a distraction if you don't pay attention to it. It doesn't affect me if I don't let it." You know, like if these people are telling me to F off over the phone, great, on to the next one.
Exactly.
If people message me, which it happens more than you think, about a certain video that they don't like, I'm just like, great, hey, keep tuning in. Maybe I'll like the next one.
Yeah.
Hey, keep commenting, because you know what? You help my bandwidth anyways.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was I was just talking to someone about it. The people who liked Howard Stern watched for 2 hours. The people who hated Howard Stern watched for 4 hours.
That's great.
So it's like, look, keep hating, keep watching, keep helping my algorithm. I don't care whether you love me or hate me. At least you know me.
At least you're helping me out. Right. Yeah, I was listening to one of Michael Reese's podcasts, and I had never thought about making phone calls from that point of view, that it's really just practice to get over the objections when you're speaking to people in person. And taking it from that perspective, I don't understand why anyone would not make phone calls, because it's just like running through practice, because at some point you're gonna go to that listing appointment. You're gonna have a buyer's consultation where you're going to have to be the expert if you know what you're doing or not. So why not take the time to become the expert right now and make some phone calls, you know?
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. And it just comes down to, what is your end goal? What is your end game? If it's to get in front of more people, you need to get on video.
Right.
If you're happy just doing good, hey, you don't have to get on video. But I know the people we work with, the people who are my clients that I work with, they are winners who want to win bigger.
Yeah.
That's what we realize. You know, it's like, a lot of times we're not helping the people who are happy where they're at. You know why? Because they're happy where they're at. They're comfortable. That's perfectly fine. Stay in your comfort zone. I'm not going to push you.
It's kind of boring.
And
I
realize I have to stop trying to push people who don't want to be pushed.
Right.
Look, if you're a winner who wants to win bigger, if you want to make more money, if you want to sell more deals, if you want to sell more homes, you got to work with people just like me to get on video, get in front of more people, and to ultimately build your brand.
Right. And I mean, it comes down to that. You have to get them to know, like, and trust you.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody says it. It's a thing, you know. Well, how the hell are you going to get people you don't know to know, like, and trust you without providing them with some content that's valuable to them?
Right.
I mean, every single day of the week, that is going to make you succeed. I've noticed a huge change in my business since we've been doing these lives. And, you know, I mean, I go live from when we get a new listing. I'm like, you guys better hurry up. I'm about to sell this thing. You know, it's
Right.
gone already. If you don't come over and look at it, have your realtor bring you over, you know,
Right.
and I get great, you know, feedback from stuff. But like you said, even negative feedback, who cares? It all helps out the algorithm. So if it keeps you at the front of mind, top of mind, any content's better than zero content, right?
Content. My shitty video beats your no video.
100% of the time.
100% of the time.
For sure, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for going live with me today. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you too, Matt. You guys are doing big things. I love hearing from you guys. I love seeing you guys on video, especially after, you know, when I first saw you do video to right now, it is such a big improvement. I love just seeing what you guys are doing constantly, continuing the growth, continuing to that next step. I'm just excited to see what you guys are going to do next.
Yeah. Oh, we've got big things planned. We just did a whole business planning, you know, workshop with the McCarthy's today at the meeting, and Janelle and I looked at our numbers and really got in front of it. And this year is gonna be really good for the Moreno real estate team. You know, it's gonna be neat.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. No, I'm really excited for you guys, and I appreciate you having me on, brother.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll talk to you later.
All right, we'll see you, Matt.